So, deep inside the highest levels of power in Pakistan, there's this really controversial idea being kicked around. It's a proposal that could completely redefine the country's place in the world. But man, the cost could be absolutely staggering. We're talking about a plan to send Pakistani soldiers into Gaza, one of the most volatile places on Earth. And look, we're not talking about a small, symbolic gesture here. The number on the table is 3,500. That's a full brigade, a number big enough to make Pakistan one of the main faces of this whole international mission. So, you've got to ask, right? Why on earth would a country that has, for its entire history, been one of the biggest champions of the Palestinian cause, why would they even think about doing this? Well, as we're about to find out, the reasons and the risks are way more complicated than they look.
All right, so how are we going to break all this down? Here's our game plan. We'll start with the perilous choice itself, then we'll get into the details of this so-called Gaza plan. We'll see how it just completely clashes with Pakistan's history, look at the intense pressure coming from Washington, weigh the huge risk of backlash at home, and wrap it all up with the biggest question of all.
Okay, first things first. It's so important to get that this isn't being sold as just a simple peacekeeping mission. For Pakistan, this is a massive, nation-defining decision with huge implications for its identity and its future.
You know, the official language they're using is all very calm, very technical, words like stabilization. But let's be real, Pakistan would basically be volunteering its army to help manage a political project that was designed somewhere else entirely. It would put Pakistani soldiers right in the middle of a security setup where the priorities are being shaped in Washington and made to be comfortable for Israel.
So what is this plan exactly? Let's take a closer look at what the United States is pushing so hard for.
Its official name is the Gaza Stabilization Force. Now, this was a key piece of the Trump administration's peace plan, and it's all about managing the territory after the conflict. The basic idea is to bring in this international force to handle the transition.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. On the surface, who can argue with these goals? I mean, reconstruction, economic recovery, that all sounds great. But then you look a little closer. The plan also wants to weaken resistance groups and, quote, secure the environment for disarmament. So what analysts are saying is that this force would in effect be controlling post-war Gaza and making a whole new order seem legitimate, all under this banner of stabilization.
And this is where the whole idea just smashes headfirst into decades of Pakistan's official foreign policy. It creates this absolutely massive contradiction.
And wow, this slide just lays out the dilemma perfectly. On one side, you have Pakistan's entire history, unwavering support for Palestine, a hardline refusal to recognize Israel, always looking at the issue through this anti-colonial lens. But then, on the other side, you have the reality of this mission. Priorities set in Washington, a plan designed for Israeli comfort, and a role that critics are calling outsourced enforcement. Basically, managing the occupation, not ending it.
There's one analysis that just nails this trade-off. It says that Pakistan would be choosing to spend its moral capital, its whole reputation as a supporter of Palestine, just to get some short-term diplomatic brownie points.
Okay, so let's get into why this choice is even being considered, because this is not just a friendly request. There is an intense, full-court press coming from Washington, and it is all focused on one man.
And that man is Field Marshal Asim Munir. He's not just the army chief, he's now the chief of the defense forces, and he is right at the heart of this entire diplomatic push. He has worked really hard to build a close relationship with President Trump, even getting a rare solo lunch at the White House, all in an effort to fix years of mistrust between the two countries.
And to really get why he's the key here, you just have to look at the unprecedented power he's managed to gather. He's been put in charge of all the armed forces. His job is safe until 2030. He's been made a field marshal for life. And get this, he even has lifetime immunity from being prosecuted, thanks to some recent changes to the Constitution. This gives him almost unlimited authority.
As Michael Kugelman from the Atlantic Council puts it, when a decision this big is on the line, there's just no question about who gets the final say. It's going to be Munir's call, and his alone.
So what you've got is this high-stakes squeeze. Washington is pushing hard for these troops. Munir is expected to meet with Trump again very soon, and if he annoys the U.S. president, that could put vital investment and security aid on the line. The pressure is on for Munir to deliver.
But, and this is a huge but, if the pressure from Washington is immense, the potential pressure back home could be like a political powder keg, just waiting for a spark.
Sending troops could set off some serious opposition from all corners of Pakistani society. You've got Islamist parties that can get thousands of people into the streets in a heartbeat. You have the powerful ideology of banned anti-Israel groups still floating around. And, crucially, you have the huge base of support for former Prime Minister Imran Khan, a group that already has a major grudge against the military leadership.
The analyst Abdul Basit just lays out the danger so clearly. He says the story at home would be immediate and powerful, that Pakistan's army chief is doing Israel's dirty work, and he says it would be foolhardy not to see that coming. That kind of narrative could cause some serious instability.
And all of this, the diplomacy, the pressure, the risk at home, it all brings us to one final, really haunting question that hangs over this whole thing.
I mean, when you strip away all the geopolitical jargon and the diplomatic niceties, it really just comes down to this. Whose security would these Pakistani soldiers truly be protecting? Because they wouldn't be dismantling an occupation, they wouldn't be lifting a siege, so what exactly is their purpose?
And so this is the monumental choice, laid bare. On one side, you have the promise of getting back in Washington's good graces, at least for a little while, and on the other, you have the very real risk of a massive backlash at home and the feeling of turning your back on a principle held for decades. It's a truly perilous choice, with the very soul of a nation hanging in the balance.